What's up, guys? Welcome back to Burn the Ship, the podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to go all in on their business. And today we have on Katie and Zach with Edge CCTV. Thank you guys so much for coming in today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Kelly.
So tell me a little bit about your business.
You start. I'll follow up.
All right. So Edge CCTV started out in 2014 with two owners coming in from the corporate world and wanting to make a difference in the community that they were in, starting in Marietta. We have another office now in Windy Hill, and what they started out as is, ironically, Chloe's auto repair shop, which is still in business and active in Hiram, Dallas, that area, and has multiple locations all over. It's named after the owner, Mike's daughter, Chloe. And they saw a need in the community for more active security, especially as COVID started to go down and crime started to rise as a result. And they wanted a way to keep not only their community safe, but their daughters safe. So they started up a company where the culture is you take care of the people first and your community rallies around you. So all of our products are fantastic. None of them is from China. We use GeoVision for our cameras, and they are imported from Thailand or Taiwan. And they brought in my boss, which is Kevin. He is the VP of sales, and he's the one that brought all of us in together. Our outside sales rep, which is my colleague Zach. He's sitting right next to me. And he's going to be speaking more about our product and how we're going to be making a difference moving forward.
Katie pretty much nailed it. I mean, that's what we do. We're right here. And then the whole thing is a lot of companies talk about they can do what we can do for cheaper, faster, better, whatever. But our whole thing is back-end service. So it's like that goes back to the community bit where you call us, you're not going to get a robot. We have a direct line. We'll come out same day to talk to you. We're a people company. So like you're going to get someone on the line. We're going to be there for you in person. We're going to answer emails, pick up the phone. And so it's one of those, if you need us, we have direct access. And I feel like that's really important as opposed to just another 1-800 number to call where you're just like, oh, good, let me just Google another one. It's like, well, let me actually talk to somebody on the phone. So I appreciate that because it's a smaller company, been around for like I said, a decade, but it's kept small because that's kind of where we found we like it. It had 40, 50 people at one time, a few more than that. And then it got knocked back down. We said it's too much to handle. We kind of lost the feel of it. And now, the owners are in there every day. Our boss is in there. We all talk to each other. It's very open, and it's a fun environment to be around. And it's one of those like, just give us a holler and we'll come at least tell you what we think. So it's good.
So what drove both of you guys to get into this industry?
Well, for me, it was seeing the impact that the owners wanted to have on the community and seeing how I can help them move forward. My goal is to not only service the community and service my colleagues and seeing how I can help them grow, but making sure that our company is able to get more of a name out into the Marietta and Cobb County communities, because we don't just service the Metro Atlanta area. We are active all across the United States, as well as internationally with Canada and Mexico. And so what inspired me to jump ship with the insurance model, because I was in insurance for 4.5 years. I have 4 insurance licenses with property, casualty, life, and health insurance licensing, there was more opportunity, especially with the way our country was going, especially at the time, right pre-election, and to help our country and help our community go in a more positive direction. It inspired me to get involved.
Mine was a little bit, more out of necessity. So I came from a banking background from a long time, so I have all that financial knowledge. And then that led into banking sales, like small business loans, things like that. And then eventually when, the ceiling was hit over there, turned into recruiting. And I was like, I feel like I'm helping people because I'm doing something that, I'm good talking to people. I like it. But I feel like I'm not having the impact that I want to because it's very much pick up the phone and don't really see the end of what I did. So it's like I don't get to see it finish. And then a friend of mine who works at Edge now, who's from just a friend group from years ago, was like, hey, we have an opening. If you want to interview, it's a very different vibe than you've come from before. Just check it out and see. I'm like, well, I have a sales background, I have a finance background. Let's just give it a go. And Kevin really mentioned, like, really won me over with just him talking about, even on the interview, it was like, this is a family company. I'm not going to work anyone to the bone. You can if you want to, but I really would really rather go home with my family and still make an honest living. And I was like, that's kind of attractive to me. And so that got me into that. But then also he was like, here's what we do. Here's the kind of service we provide. And I was like, cameras, like who sells cameras? But then I was like, well, every place that you've ever been has them. So they kind of need them. And they actually do perform a service that everyone can relate with. I feel like with banking or other things, everyone has like a feeling about it one way or another. But with this, we're like, yeah, I see the value. And so it kind of just felt like a necessary good to me. And so that's why.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that both of you guys come from such good backgrounds, completely different, but also not that different as far as like structure is concerned.
Dealing with people every day, yeah.
Right, yeah. And, that's a necessity in all of our fields. So coming from that industry into this, what makes you guys feel like Edge CCTV is different from like a local company? Like, I won't mention their names, but like local companies, you guys know who I'm talking about.
From across the field, yeah.
And things like as simple as Ring cameras. Like, what sets you guys apart? Why should our viewers use you guys instead of those other options?
Not to put too fine a point, anything that you can buy online or the internet is only going to do so good of a job. It's very much not all cameras are created equal. It's like, you have a Corolla or a Ferrari. Yeah, they're both cars. They will both get you from A to B. What are the differences between them? Ours tend to be more the middle upper echelon, where it's like our stuff can be used in court. It's watermarked, time-stamped. I mean, I know that's a lot of fun to talk about, but it's one of those, when things go down, you kind of want to be able to have reliable stuff. Or if the police ever call and they say, well, can you zoom in or can you look at this because it'll work at night? We're like, yes. But then also, like, we have really good tech team. So if you call Ring, again, just one of your 1-800 numbers or whatever, best of luck getting somebody on the phone. If you call us, you're going to call our people. I mean, kind of a funny on the spot thing is, if we're ever doing like demos for people, like we'll show them the cameras live, here's the system, all that. We'll sometimes call our tech team while we're showing customer and be like, hey, watch them pick up. And they'll do that. So if you've ever seen The Office, when Dwight pulls that move, it's the same thing. And so, yeah, it's funny in the moment, but also you're like, see, told you. And
point
so,
proven.
Yeah. And so, I mean, it's a point proven, but also it's like you're buying quality, and like that has an actual value.
And to tag on what he was saying, having that kind of technology available and having that watermarked and ability to zoom in and reverse the cameras and see what's actually going down at that specific time point not only helps out with the police involvement, but on the insurance end, at the end of the day, in commercial security, we are protecting the company's assets, right? And as a part of that, me coming from the insurance world, it's also not only is it risk management, it's also protecting your assets, be that your personal or your commercial. You buy your commercial insurance not because you need it in the moment, but as a preventative measure. Well, in case of a loss, in case of that, it's the same reason you would buy your security cameras. Preventative measure. Make sure that your assets are safe, and in the event that they're stolen, broken, what have you, or vandalized, you have that as a backup. You can send that and submit that into the insurance company, and that'll get the process moving along a lot faster.
She has a good point with the monetary bit of it, because if you think about any of these massive warehouses, right, all these big machines and everything, well, sometimes they'll have us put cameras by certain sections or rollers or whatever, because if a part breaks, that is potentially millions of dollars in just potential profits that they would have had. It was like, well, if we can now pinpoint exactly when it went down, whatever, it just helps them with a lot of the intricacies that they deal with, where it's like there are ramifications after the fact. And so it's very helpful in that aspect too.
So you said that you guys are nationwide, correct?
We are, yeah, coast to coast.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah, one of the benefits of our company is kind of like y'all's. We are a small independent owned business, but we have like
A national
upwards
presence.
of 5,000 clients, and it's
Yeah.
only a couple of us that work here, right? But we have a nationwide reach, and we're working towards more than that. So it's special to not be having to sit on the phone for 10 minutes on a 1-800 line and talking to a robot, having to hit one for blah, blah, blah. Like, actually being able to talk to somebody is super important to just the customer service aspect. So that's what kind of sets you guys apart. Do you guys have a lot of residential work, or is it mostly like corporations?
It is mostly commercial. We can do some residential depending on the size of the client's home or if their business is tied to their home. We typically like to advise them to go more towards commercial. However, there's some multimillionaires in Atlanta with 10,000 square foot plus houses, plus giant car garages. For example, a good friend of mine, he owns Adult Films LLC. And it's not what it sounds
fun.
like. It's not what it sounds like.
You know what it sounds like.
Yeah, I know what it sounds like, but he's actually wrapping all these different cars for different movies. Like, he wrapped the Iron Man Audi A8 in Iron Man 1.
That's cool. Iron Man's my favorite Marvel character.
Iron Man is one of mine, too. I'm more of a Batman gal. But the way I see it is, his business, specifically his car garage, is filled with 20, 40, 50 cars at a time that he's working on for all these different movie sets, is massive. It's 150,000 square feet of nothing but garaged cars. And his home is just as big. So for someone like that, we would recommend getting a more upgraded security system than your typical Ring. And as you stated, it's nice to not have to call the 1-800 number. And as a close friend of mine who works for his own brokerage firm says, friends don't let friends call the 1-800 number.
Yeah, that's totally fair. So if you guys had to give a piece of advice to our audience, because our audience is upcoming entrepreneurs, they are in their 9-to-5 job that is secure. So they have the salary that they get every year. It's comfortable, but they have a desire to get out and do something that they are more passionate about, but they're just afraid to burn their ship and start doing something else. What is your piece of advice for them to burn the ship?
Research. I know that's just an easy, silly one to say, but what I mentioned before, I came from banking, and that was a very typical hour job, and had the paycheck to come with it, which is great. But then to switch to that, eventually I hit a point where I was just, I mean, it might sound selfish, I don't know, I wasn't having fun anymore, and I was like, I'd reached what I wanted to reach, and I was like, this is it for me. And so to switch over, like, what's more exciting than that is like sales. It's exciting, you have growth potential, I get to frankly be out of the office and meet people, get to go do something. The draw there, besides like the money and the being out of office stuff, money hopefully is the idea in sales, it's not guaranteed. It was talking to people who I know and saying, well, honestly, it's the heart of the matter. It's what do you believe in? Because, there's so many different companies to sell from and do different things. And I mean, I'm the type where even in banking, I get in trouble being like, hey, you're not pushing XYZ products. I'm like, yeah, because I don't like them. And when I talk to people, I can hear that on their voice too. Why am I going to just say the line for the sake of saying the line? And if I don't believe in it, I can't sell it. It's not going to happen because I'm going to come off as fake or pushy or whatever. And so, after interviewing with Kevin and doing my own research on Edge, it was like, this is actually helping people. This has a real impact. And when I talk to people, I can talk knowledgeably and confidently about it. And I think that's the biggest thing is, are you knowledgeable, confident, and do you actually like what you're pushing? Because if you don't like it, best of luck to you in trying to sell it.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. I definitely get that. I wouldn't sell a product that I don't believe in, and I don't think that anybody should. And if you are selling a product that you don't believe in, then you're not going to be a good salesman.
I mean, it sounds silly, but we see it on TikTok and the gram. It's all over. People sell stuff they don't even know about or care about. I'm like, yeah, but why? How short-lived is that?
Right.
So.
Yeah, Katie, how do you feel about that?
Well, coming from a world that was very, very consistent, very 9 to 5, very clock in, clock out with insurance, yes, there was potential for growth, but at the same time, if you're not doing something that you enjoy, it's going to eat away at your soul. It's going to get you to the point of burnout where you're spitting up blood. It's not happy. You're not happy. You're not performing because you're not feeling good, and your boss isn't happy. So at the end of the day, just pursue what you are called to do. Pursue what makes you feel good. Pursue what makes the most sense for you and your family, and go for it.
Solid advice from both of you. I could not agree with that anymore. So how can our audience reach you guys if they need y'all's services, or maybe just wants like a one-to-one with you? How can they reach you guys?
The website is great. It's short, it's easy. It's edgecctv.com. So EDGE CCTV. It's about the only website out there with that. So easy to find us. Phone numbers are on there. Not really sure if this is a cuttable moment or not. But no, the website's great, and you call us. The number's on there. We have one office line. So you call that line and somebody will answer.
Okay, cool. Do you guys have any Instagram or Facebook or anything that anybody can reach you guys on? Or is it just the website?
Nope, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, LinkedIn, we're on there too as a company, and then under the company you'll see all of us listed under there. Please reach out, connect with us. I mean, being a personal company, that's what we do. So reach out, hey, I saw you on the podcast. I'll be like, get out of here. No, you didn't. And then we'll talk. We'll have a conversation.
Okay, great. Well, if you guys have any last bit of advice for anybody that is trying to burn their ship and start their own company, what is just like, you can have a one-liner or whatever inspirational advice you guys have for our audience, hit me with it.
It's a good one. Think on it for a second. What do you have? Do you have a line?
I mean, I'm going to go with my favorite quote is from the Bible. It's Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope in a future. That verse has driven me since I was a little girl, and it's been kind of like a family motto verse too. My mom quit her 9 to 5 at the Marietta Daily Journal, went full bore onto the Marietta Cobb Museum of Art, and she has made millions of dollars for not only the museum, but for the city of Marietta, and I could not be prouder to call her my mom.
Oh, sweet. For me, mine was the decision to go into his, what you say, burn the ships. I took that very literally, where some people will hang on to stuff or say, you know, if I leave, there's still going to be an opening for me, or like, what if I want to come back? I was of the mindset, if I'm going to go and I still have part of me there, that's just going to hold me back, and people are going to get that read too. So like, if I'm not actually going to commit to something, then I'm not ready to do that, and that's okay. If you're not ready to jump off the ship as it's going down, then don't do it. But if you're going to commit, seriously, just do it. Commit. So.
Yeah, that is the essential of burn the ship. It's burning it down so that you don't have a ulterior, like you can't do anything.
You don't
else.
have a safety net.
You don't have that safety net. And sometimes being an entrepreneur, you don't need to have that. You have to go all in or you're not going to be a success. Because then your focus can be like, I've always got a fallback plan.
Which is scary, but it's going to drive it. Use that fear as a motivator and not as a, let's not do that thing. Like, use it to go, push, do it.
Right.
Drive
Absolutely.
you forward.
100%. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I appreciate you guys. You guys have been amazing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And y'all make sure to reach out to Katie or Zach with Edge CCTV. And if you need any work done, let them know. If you need your house or company set up with some cameras, they got you covered.
That's right.
But thank you guys.
Appreciate it.